Thanks for clicking. I ended the last video with a topic very much like I've done before, that came to mind when I only had a minute left to record, so I thought, well, we'll save it for the next video and try to fit it in maybe in a future video, but I think I'm going to try to fit it in this video, which something that I thought of today at work and after work and stuff, having rung a lot of people up today. And this is also a reason why people might think, your goal in life, or your idea of a good job, or a job, not a good job, it's a job that you want to do is cashiering. That's like, he's such a high goal setter, and I can understand any negative thinking behind, like his dream job is cashier, huh? And I guess it's my dream obtainable job. I mean, my dream job is making movies, but that's all that job ever is going to be, is a dream, and I long since realized that years ago. So my dream doable job, yes, is being a cashier, apparently, at retail. And this video was about, and I was reminded, not having had a job for the last while, I guess 4 months, that having been thrown back in the mix today, I was reinforced. I was reminded why I like cashiering so much, and one of the big reasons is there was you're gonna see new faces, and a lot of new faces every single shift, and it's always gonna be new. And today there were some experiences where some women or girls went through, and you can just feel like something, whether it's just me or not, it's there, because I don't know where it's coming from, but you can feel a little bit of something. Maybe a girl fancies you, or something like that. But I came away today from work feeling like working cashier is very much, or in a lot of ways, like speed dating. That I'm referring to, that kind of stuff you see in movies, which must really happen. I mean, obviously I've never done it. It's not obvious, but I've never done it. Which is, you just sit down at a table or whatever for 30 seconds and try to impress a girl, and then it's like, bzz, the buzzer goes, and you just get up, and everyone moves over to the next table and stuff. And it's just like, it's such a, working cashier, and this is one of the reasons I like it. And actually, another reason I like it is because one of my last jobs, the one before the last one I had for almost 3 years, actually, I ended up, getting together with a customer for a few months with a nice little friends with benefits situation. So, that's kind of, if it wasn't for that job, that wouldn't have happened, and I just, so, that's. And there were other instances that happened years before which could have possibly led to something. So basically, with my kind of, I don't know, lifestyle or whatever, and just me not going to bars or clubs or anything like that, or being necessarily very outgoing, just out in the public by myself, like when you're working at your job and you're dealing with the public, obviously there's no ice to break, because you're at your job, and talking to the customer is something that's normal and expected. So you're already, what I found over the last several years is you're already, you're talking to the female customers. You're not like, why is he talking to me? It's expected. So that's one of the things I really like about, with my limited, I mean, it's not even limited, it's non-existent social life. I mean, it's pretty much my only outlet, really, really at all, to meet people, whether it's coworkers or, coworkers or customers, So it really occurred to me today, having a few, experiences with some women's, that today, that I felt, whether something was coming from them or not, I felt it, whether I was just making it up myself or was actually emanating from them. I felt something, whether it was there or not. So it reminded me of today, having been thrown back into the mix of cashiering, that it is a lot. I mean, it felt a lot like speed dating today. Not, like I say, not that I've done it, but what I imagine it feels like, where it's like, okay, here's, and you can really get you know, you can really tell by a 30-second transaction, like just the little bit of interaction you have with someone, if you like them, or I mean if you could potentially like them. I mean, if you like them, not even just a woman, but a man, just whatever, just like their personality, you know. And it doesn't take long at all to tell if, you know, they're the kind of person you'd hang out with or be friends with, whether it's man or woman. But of course I'm leaning more towards the female side of things, you know. But you know, that's one of the one of the biggest reasons why I like, well, probably the biggest reason why I even, you know, like cashier, and especially having no, it's like you're getting paid to socialize, you know. And you see, you know, especially in an 8-hour shift, you see so many people in one day, so it's like, you know, you're getting paid to talk to women, you know. So, and you know, as you know, obviously in the past, something has come out of it in the past. You know, I've you know, like I say in my weird date story video, I actually did get together and go out on a whatever the hell it was, quote unquote date, or a lunch anyway, with a female customer. And then later on I've actually got together with another female customer, and you know, did a friend with benefits situation for 3 months, which was not long enough for me, trust me. I mean, not long enough for me by any means. So that's, I wanted to make a video about that. And then I'll, you know, since I pretty much covered, like this one, it seems like I've covered a lot, like a previous video, in a short amount of time. So now that I've basically said that, I want to talk about, before I end, a little bit of what I thought of at the end of the last video in relation to my current job, which hopefully is something that I can stay at for quite some time. I mean, like I say, I don't like switching jobs. So what had occurred to me today, because I remember, you know, a month ago or whatever, when I was thinking about a coffee shop and stuff, I'm like, I want to work at a small place with small people. Well, guess what happens if you get stuck with that? It's just you and another person on, and if the person you always work with, you don't like them, guess what? That kind of sucks. So today, you know, the particular job I'm at now, I just started and had my second day at today, is the biggest store I've ever worked at in my entire life, with obviously the most employees. You know, and I always thought that, you know, the bigger the store, the smaller I feel. But so far, I mean, I don't really feel that way. As a matter of fact, I was, you know, having come home and thought about it today, having been there for 8 hours, I was thinking almost the opposite today, because I was thinking, you know, there was someone I came across who was kind of what I would consider today, a coworker, who at least this brief moment I talked to them, seemed kind of, you know, just, it was short with me, and not in a way that I think is a pleasant, my back just killed my back today. So there was someone I came across right at the end of my shift today, which I felt wasn't necessarily a pleasant interaction with the person. And it occurred to me, you know, the more people you have at your job, the more coworkers you have, the less that one person matters in the grand scheme of things. Now compare a store full of 25, 30 coworkers to a store with 2 other coworkers, and one of those 2 other coworkers you don't like, which means 50% of the people you work with you don't like. And let's say, if, you know, just by chance, just for sake of argument, that out of 30 people, this one person, not to say that just this one little brief interaction is any determining factor about anything, but let's just say, like, there's this one person, if I'm good at, well, we'll even be more realistic and say there's 2 people out of the 30 people at my new job that I don't get along with or really, you know, connect with. Well, guess what? The percentage of that is not 50%, like it would be at some place where you have 2 other coworkers. So it occurred to me today, you know, that one of the possible benefits, not really possible, but this is like not argument, I mean, it's just a fact. One of the benefits of actually having more employees, more coworkers, is that, you know, I would say that you're probably gonna, you know, at least be able to talk to the majority of them in a way that you can connect. And obviously there's gonna be maybe some that you don't really connect with, and then there might be, you know, some that you really connect with. At any rate, I would say on average, based on just the last couple days at this new job, that you would be able to get along, at least get along with the majority of them. And there might be just a handful, maybe not even that, of people who you don't really necessarily like to see. But I'm starting to think now that maybe, the bigger job is, I always said that, the bigger the place and the more employees, the more small I feel. It doesn't really, I don't know. I'm not really seeing it that way right now. Today it occurred to me the possible benefits of having more employees. And that's one of them. And another thing is, I was worried about, obviously always ending up pretty much the black sheep at jobs. And this is kind of a good and bad thing about my experience at the job today. The second day at my new job today, which was, I was spent basically, 6 hours straight on the register. Which of course nonstop. You go away for a break and come back. But basically, I didn't really talk much at all with any of the coworkers. So which was kind of bad and kind of good at the same time, and I'll tell you why it's good. If you never end up talking to any of the coworkers, it occurred to me today while I was eating after work, well, that would mean if I don't barely ever talk to any of the coworkers, that would mean it will take longer. If not, maybe it may be for me to become the black sheep. Maybe I wouldn't even ever become the black sheep. You pretty much have to talk to people, and and end up over. You can't become the black sheep if you don't interact with people. So I was trying to think about a positive of not, potentially. Having your first day cashiering on Saturday was kind of not, doesn't really, not every day is going to be that busy. So it's not realistic to necessarily how every shift is going to be. But I was kind of bummed about that. Like, Jesus, this 8-hour shift came and went, and I barely said anything to any coworkers. And I'm like, but at least I got to, interact with the customers. But I was trying to see, like I say, I was trying to see the good in, well, what's the good in not talking? Well, you're not going to make any enemies if you never talk to your coworkers, or at least if you never talk to them at length, So, I guess in closing, that's where I stand. Very much. So those are some of the things that came to my mind today when I was spending 6 hours, on register today. It is a lot like speed dating, and just having these customers, just go through 30 seconds. Some of them are longer because they got a lot of, like I said, people buy a lot of crap at once. They easily spend up to $300 just on, oh my God, it's just like, holy cow, I pretty much never spend, I never really spend $100 at one time, really. That's rare for me, so. But so that's some thoughts I had, that came to mind working today, 8 hours at the new job. And as I said in my previous video, it's going well so far. Today went pretty well. I got tomorrow off, so I can try to hopefully catch up on a little sleep. And unfortunately, like I say, I got a little computer training. It might be nothing but computer crap on Monday, but after that, it's register stuff for the rest of next week and then the week after. So looking forward to it and continuing to hone the old register skills and keep seeing, this particular place is a job where you see a lot of different kind of people. My last job I worked at was kind of more of a job where you'd see more, I don't know, maybe the biggest majority of customers at my last job was maybe middle-aged women or something, and young women too. But this job, you have all kinds of, even younger women and stuff and whatever. So that's my thoughts on that. So I guess that'll about do it for today. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I will definitely see you on the next one of these videos.